So what do you think the worst game for the N64 is?
Oh, well, I know what the most overrated one is. Diddy Kong Racing. That game is trash.
Oh my god, that game's so bad!
Why do people love that game? I will never understand.
I don't know.
It's bad. You're bad. You should feel bad for liking it. Bad. Get over it.
And Funky Kong's not even in it.
I'm done.
Dude.
I don't even need to waste my time anymore on that game.
Yo! Welcome everybody to another exciting episode of Multiplayer. I am one of your hosts, Zach Matt Scannis, alongside the funkiest of all the Kongs, Javier Ortiz.
Nice.
What is up?
Very funky. I love it. It's been a while. Well, it's been about a week.
Since you've been funky?
No, since we've been back here. You know,
Yes.
It's been a little busy, but...
Yeah. Sorry about the week off, everybody. You know, it was, work was a little crazy.
20-hour shifts. Oh, my phone. 20-hour shifts. It's great.
Yeah, it really wears on your soul.
Yeah, and your mind and your body.
Yes.
And sometimes you just need to go in a coma for about 2 days, and so.
But you feeling funky again?
Oh, we're gonna keep saying that until we talk about it. But yes, I'm feeling very funky ever since picking up the game. But we'll get into that a little bit later.
All right, well. So, just wanted to let everybody know, if you are checking this out, then thank you very much. We are on YouTube, youtube.com/multiplayer, but you can also listen to this with your earballs as a podcast.
Earballs.
Yeah, ready? Earballs. iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. And also, if you're really feeling it, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/multiplayer. All right.
It's a good place to check us out. It's got everything.
It's delicious. Check it out.
Tasty.
Yummy. So let's jump into some fun goodness. And by fun goodness, I mean sad things.
Yeah. So by fun, happy time, we mean death.
Yes.
And despair.
I mean, they're kind of hand in hand, right?
Sometimes.
I feel like a crazy person.
Yeah. So sad news this past week. One of the founders of Atari, Ted Dabney, passed away. He was 81 years old. Long fulfilling life, and I put up my Atari hat just as like a, in reverence to him, because although he wasn't with the company for long, I think he was only with them for a few years, until Pong came out, I believe.
So pretty early on then.
Yeah, but still, one of the pillars of a company that really defined the home console video game market and really laid the foundation for what we have today. I mean, imagine the industry without the Atari Foundation or the Atari company at all. Without games like Pitfall and
that's it.
Nope, Asteroid and not Pac-Man. That was bad.
There's some bad ports on that.
There are some bad ones, but its place as a in terms of the home console market, what it did, what it brought to the mainstream audience, especially in America, it was huge, and I think it'll stand the test of time forever, and everyone will always know what Atari is, I think, without necessarily knowing all about their games, like me, for example. I'm not an expert, that's way before my time. I'm not the biggest expert on Atari knowledge, but I know what Atari is, and I think every person that thinks themselves as a gamer would know what Atari is, no matter how much they played it, or even if they've ever touched the system. I think if they see that symbol, they automatically know what that is, like the PlayStation symbol or the Xbox. I think it's a symbol in terms of the video game industry, kind of like the Coca-Cola symbol. Everyone will recognize it.
Yeah, at least for the foreseeable future anyways.
Yeah.
It's something where it's like, you can't deny Atari's, what they attributed to video games. I mean, it was kind of like, before the Atari, you had the Magnavox Odyssey, and but it didn't really do what Atari did. It's like
exactly.
You think about video games in their past, and the normal person wouldn't know what the heck a Magnavox Odyssey.
Yeah, no one's probably 10 out of 10 people would never heard of that. I guarantee it.
I'm not in the 10. Nobody asked me.
Well, I think we're special cases. But yeah, like I think the Atari will stand the test of time. Everyone will always recognize the name Atari and will understand it, even if they can't name a single video game that Atari ever made. I think
everybody can remember Pong, which is
true.
You know, something they basically stole from the Magnavox Odyssey.
Well, they made it better.
Not really. It was pretty much the same thing.
They made it better, maybe more crisp, more clean.
That real crisp square.
Yeah.
You know, back and forth.
But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. I mean, not too much. You know, I don't know too much about him. My screen's freaking out. But you know, like I said, he was a part of the laying of foundation for the video game industry, which was huge and will always be huge and a big part of the gaming history as we know it. So you know, just wanted to shout out to him and you know, rest in peace. I'm sure he had a great, long, successful life, and you know, like I said, without him, who knows where Atari would be, and who knows where the industry would be without you know, without his input. So yeah, you know, rest in peace, Ted Dabney. Hopefully his family is, you know, our condolences to his family. Hopefully they're doing well.
True that. Quick technical question: where's your microphone?
It's right here.
I don't even see it.
Right there.
Oh, it's kind of hiding down there.
It's right there.
Put that on the outside shirt.
No, it's right there.
It's just kind of hiding. I don't want to rub on that other shirt.
No, it's fine. Trust me, it's fine. It's fine. We'll fix it and post something wrong with it.
All right.
It's fine. No worries.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Anyway, so speaking of death and things dying and possibly dying.
Uh-oh. More death. Here we go.
This isn't death confirmed. This is just kind of
death we know is coming.
Foreshadowing, I guess. The PS4 entering the final phase of its life cycle.
Yes.
That's the exact quote.
So it's cancer. That's what you're saying. It's dying.
I mean,
it's in the hospital bed. I can't even speak.
A hospitable bed in a hospital.
True.
Use your words.
A hospital bed.
Yes.
It's got the IVs in it. It's on life support.
Sony Interactive CEO John Codera had that news to say, and I think he also said it could be gone. It says he went on to suggest that March 2021 would be the time the company would be looking beyond the PS4 console into the future. He didn't say that's when it'll be done. That's when we're gonna have a new console.
That's exactly what he said.
I know everyone's freaking out about it, but I think if you're the CEO, I think you should choose your words better.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't be talking about that stuff until you're ready to announce the next console. Yeah. It's like it's kind of stuff you just sort of don't say.
It seems like a weird statement to make about your system that's still selling like hotcakes, especially with the God of War game that just got released and all and the PS4 Pro in general is not declining in sales at all.
It's literally brand new. Like the PS4 came out like a year ago, I think. Oh,
the Pro, yeah.
I think it was like last November-ish.
Yeah, I believe so. It's not that long ago.
Yeah. So it's like
really close.
You know, if I was like an ordinary person that isn't ridiculous and knows too much about all this stuff. Like if I was just average Joe and I had just dropped $400 on a God of War PS4 or something, and then I just heard that in the news, you know, I read that on Forbes or something like that, and it's just like, well, what do you mean? It's dying. Is it? Yeah. I just dropped $400 on this console.
The life cycle's ending. Is that just a fancy way of saying we're done with it?
Yeah, I mean, I just bought this like a month ago.
Yeah. What's crazy is like, and we were talking about before the show started, how it just doesn't feel old. The PS4, like this gen, like it just does not feel old at all. Like I feel like I've had my PS4 now for like 5 years now, but like I feel like I've only had it for like a year or two.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm in the same boat. Like, I bought my PS4, I think about a year-ish after it came out. Maybe it was a little less, like maybe it was like 9 months or something. But it was like right in those window, in that window. So I haven't had it, you know, longer than somebody that bought it at launch. But it's still like I've almost had this console 5 years. You know, it's probably been about 4-ish for me. But it's still like. I feel like there's still so much life in this console.
Yeah, yeah. Especially when you have like, older consoles like, the PS3 or the PS2 and those gens, like there was always like, you could tell when a console was getting dated and you're like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm ready for that next leap into the, better graphics, better gameplay, smoother gameplay, all that. But I don't feel like that right now with the PS4 and the PS4 Pro and the, the
especially
Xbox
the
One.
Pro.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
and like the One X, like these systems are just like they run like so smooth.
You could do 4K 60 frames with
Yeah.
certain games. It's like just crazy stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
yo, what do I need a new console?
Exactly.
What are we doing? 8K, 120 frames?
And I like looking at stuff like that. It's like, well, God, I hope you guys aren't like forcing it just to put out something new, because like it's not. I doubt any of the developers are like, look, we have these great ideas, but we need better power.
Yeah.
Like we need better machines to run them on. I don't think that's, at least that doesn't seem to be the case. I can't imagine it is, because games like God of War, for example, are just stunning, like beautiful, and like
I don't look at God of War. I'm like, I could really use a new console.
I think I need some next gen graphics for this, because it's a little sloppy.
This might as well be Mario 64.
That
over
snake
here.
kind of looks like a worm. It looks kind of stupid. Like I need some next gen graphics right now.
I might as well be playing Pitfall over here.
Oh, but no, yeah. Like I just don't understand why Cadero, is that it? Yeah, Cadero would come out and say this. Like it just doesn't seem to make much sense. Like again, I think this all comes back to just choosing your words better.
Yeah, it feels like he was almost like talking about this like it's just like a common thing that, because if you think about it, it's like, it's been about 5 years since the system's been out.
Yeah,
it's clearly in like the last leg of its life. Not saying that that's very soon. It's like you probably have another 2-3 really, really solid years before they even think about announcing a new console.
Yeah.
So it's like by 2021, then I could see myself like ready for a new console.
right. And I wonder like what determines the end of a life cycle? Like to me, is it sales decline, or is it like sales start to just like plateau? Like they're not really going up anymore. Because I think it's still going up, especially with God of War's release. Like the numbers on that, obviously, we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, like those have sold tremendously well, and that's a console seller. Like that game is a straight up console seller.
And I read like MPD numbers where they talk about like year over year, all the consoles as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Like it'll be like April, like 2018 sold better console wise than like April 2017. Right. And it's like stuff like that where it's like, well, these consoles are all selling really strong.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact numbers per like console.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that, I guess, could technically be the Switch or something like that. But I know like at least like the PS4 is selling really well, and I'm pretty sure like in April, if I remember my facts right, PS4 is the best selling console because of God of War.
That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, it only makes sense. But yeah, like I wonder if they start to think about like, okay, we can start our new console now that our current one is just plateauing. All our sales are kind of just steady. They're not really rising anymore. They're just kind of, they're at where they're at. It's had a great life, 8+ years. Let's start to focus on something new. So with that being said, the next console, after this life cycle.
Yeah.
What can you imagine that being like the PS5 or what we so call it?
It's gonna be the PlayStation V. That's what it's gonna. If
like Battlefield. And,
yeah. It's gonna be like Battlefield.
It's like the PSV, not Vita.
It's PSV.
Just what? Is dead.
Oh, poor Vita.
But yeah, like what do you think? Like the next console, like, because I personally think it'll integrate if they do something new. I don't think it's something where it's like, all right, the new PS5, what we're calling it, we're going to have brand new games and it's solely for this. I think it's going to focus on the VR component. And I think that's going to be like the bigger deal with the next gen system.
So I think when the console was originally announced, I think we're going to see a very strong presence of VR in there. It's kind of like, Sony's sort of taken a step back from like handheld stuff, and their second kind of branch of their gaming department is now this like VR stuff. So it's like I can very much see like a strong presence for VR when the PlayStation V is announced.
Yeah.
Vita. No, I'm just
PlayStation V. Oh wait, VR's taken.
Oh, that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be the PlayStation V R
2.
It's like, wait, what? What's going on here? But yeah, so and this happens a lot with new consoles where you see like the Xbox One did this. There's like, we have the Kinect 2.0. You know, it has all these extra bells and whistles, blah blah blah, for what you can do with this console, voice commands, all this nonsense. And it's like, and then you have the Wii U and like TV, which I don't know if you remember that guy, but it's spelled TV. TVII.
Yeah,
and
very confusing.
It's basically like, hey, with your Wii U, you have your big gamepad and your remote. You can hook up to this. You can basically watch TVs through this thing. You had like nonsense like that. You had like, the PS4 when that originally launched. They had more connectivity with like the PlayStation Vita. They were kind of pushing that side. So it's like whenever there's like a new console, they're always trying to push something else on you as well. It's like, it can connect with this thing, like the Game Boy and the GameCube and like the Game Boy Advance.
They all just flow through each other and all synergy.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
so it's exactly. So it's like there was a lot of that kind of stuff when all these like new consoles come out. So I can see that with the PS5 too, and I think that's something where it's like it'll have a strong presence, but it will always take a back seat, especially with like. I think like the sales for the PlayStation VR have been pretty decent, but I don't think it's ever gonna like blow the doors off of anything, even with like a really dope like PSVR 2.0 kind of deal. I think it's still gonna be kind of the same situation where it's like we get this PlayStation 5 V, the 5V,
the 5V,
and I hope it's just called the PlayStation High Five.
Oh.
Wouldn't that be cool? It's not gonna be, but it's
that's a good name for a system.
And then it'll have kind of like the Switch sound, but it's just gonna be like a
nice. I like that.
And then they can really shove it into Nintendo. But the oh gosh, now it just seems off track.
You're just thinking of high fives now.
Yeah, so I think the PlayStation 5, like I said, the VR is gonna be there, but it's it'll always take kind of a backseat.
Yeah, I think you're right. It does seem like whenever new consoles are released, there's always some kind of, I don't want to say gimmicks, but like they kind of are. Like there's always new stuff, like look at these cool things it does, and then after a few months, everyone's like, whatever. Like just give me the games. Like that's all I want. Yeah. That's all I care about right now.
Yeah, it's like we're getting to a point now where it's like, what new things could they do? Because it's like you think about it, it's like, and this kind of goes for like Sony and Xbox, where it's like. So that you can watch like almost any app. It's like you got your Netflix and Hulu and YouTube and all these apps. It's like even heck the Xbox you can plug up to your cable and like all that kind of stuff on there. You have online stuff that is pretty. I mean, it's pretty great now. I mean, it's like you can always add to the functionality and features of the online kind of stuff like voice chat, party chat, all that kind of fun stuff. But as of right now, it's like it's steady, it works well.
Yeah, I don't really know what else you need to change or improve, or I don't know. It just seems very premature. Yeah, like to say all this and to think to already. And it seems weird to say to already think about the next gen, but it's like it has been 5 years and it's going on more than that. But it's just. Again, I think it just comes back to it's like, well, these systems, this current gen just doesn't feel old yet. Yeah. And I'm not, and I don't know, I can't speak for developers, but me personally, it just seems like no one's saying like, we need better everything to make the games we want to play or to make the games we want to make. So it it just doesn't seem like it's needed
Yeah.
right now, you know?
But, you know, you think about it, it's like March 2021, that's, you know, pretty much 3 years from now. So it's
Right,
like,
I mean, yeah,
it's,
huge changes could be made in that time,
Yeah.
and things could happen, but maybe there's going to be a whole new Battle Royale game that's going to take over the world. Who knows?
have 1,000-person battle royale.
Oh my God. Jesus.
It'll take you 12 hours to kill everybody, and it's gonna be super real in VR, and just soaked in blood, just stabbing people, just piles of bodies.
Haven't eaten in days. Just trying to survive. 1,000. It started with 1,000. We're at 500 now. Oh God.
When will this end?
But yeah, it just
PlayStation high five.
But yeah, it just seems weird to think about next gen, and
Yeah.
especially when CEOs are coming out saying, "Hey, we're in the last
Yeah,
phase of
you
our
should
life
not say
cycle."
that.
It's like, take a step back there, guy. Maybe you shouldn't be talking about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I brought this up as well. The Vita. Speaking of end
Speaking
of
of
life
dead
cycles,
things.
there's a lot of death in this episode.
Yeah.
Lots of things are dying.
It's a sad day.
Appropriate because I'm wearing my Infinity Gauntlet shirt with
Yeah.
Thanos, who just kills everybody. Spoilers. I mean, he did in the comics. Like,
Spoilers, he's in a comic.
you're right. So the Vita, it's
Dead?
dead.
It's been dead for a while.
now
but
it's dead.
now it's just really dead.
It's like
You're
red
just
dead.
like beating a dead horse.
Yeah. I couldn't find the specific article. I guess I could find it. But yeah, basically it's done. Like they're gonna stop support for it.
Yeah, they're just gonna kind of stop manufacturing like the discs and stuff for the console.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
where they're at.
Which, I'm not one to, like, I don't have a Vita. I never owned one. I never really had interest in one.
Yeah.
But it's always sad to see, like, a cool tech device, especially one made by Sony, because I'm a big Sony fan. Seeing one just die and just be like, well, I guess I should have supported it more, but it just seemed like what was the purpose? Like, I just feel like I didn't need it.
I mean, the thing is, like, there are people out there that love their Vita.
Yeah.
And
It's big in Japan, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's still pretty big in Japan.
Yeah, but I think only Japan.
Yeah. But like my big problem with it, and the reason I never pick one up, and I'm still to this day I'm on a Vita strike until they lower the price of those gosh dang frickin' cards. They're
Oh my God! Yeah, the
stupid-
memory card things.
Yeah, they're stupid memory cards. It'll be like, hey, you want like a 16 gig card? It's like, well, it's a little low, but yeah, I guess I'll take it. Okay, that'll be $400.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it makes no sense why those
just-
memory cards
Just
cost so much.
astronomically too expensive.
Yeah,
And-
I don't understand why they need to cost that much for the Vita
Yeah,
to use.
so it's just one of those things. Like, I have so many games in a Vita library from PlayStation Plus
Right.
over like 6-7 years probably
Yeah.
of having the PlayStation Plus subscription. So I mean, my library is enormous.
Yeah,
Like,
you got games to play.
yeah, I probably have 100 some games.
Sure.
Some really good games.
Yeah.
Like I have like Guacamelee and all these like dope games for
Mm-hmm.
that system, and I'll just never play them because I just refuse to
memory
buy
card, yeah.
that stupid memory card. Those memory
Yeah.
cards can be like more expensive than the freaking console.
Yeah,
it's nonsense.
It doesn't make any sense. And it's a shame too, because like, I didn't have the Vita, but I did have a PSP, and I loved my PSP. It was my entertainment hub when I was younger. Like, on the go, having music, video, and games available to play. And this is like, I don't want to say pre-internet, but this is like before smartphones were really taken over and everybody had one. This was still when I had a flip phone and I didn't have internet.
I bet you had Spider-Man on UMD
Oh,
for your PlayStation.
I
mean,
might
for
have.
your
For my PSP?
PSP.
I might have. And you best believe I had the God of War games. Those are the first two games I got. But I loved my PSP, and like, I loved having all that on the go, and it just seemed like such a cool device. Like, it seemed like what a smartphone is today, but just cooler because it had buttons. And I've always loved the look of the PSP and the Vita. I think they're really sharp looking. I think they're really nice. And it's just, like I said, it's a shame. it's a shame about the memory card, really, but like, that's really like.
I've waited for years. I would love to buy one.
Yeah.
But I'm not paying crazy prices for
I feel you. But it's a shame because I have fond memories of my PSP and I loved having it and I was a fool to get rid of it. But I really, that cat just keeps crying. But yeah, I do miss having it because, before, this was before the Switch and the only mobile device for games that I had was my Game Boy or my Game Boy Advance. And so, as much as I love the Game Boy Advance, like, I loved my PSP more just because of everything I could do with it. Like, I just, I could use it as my MP3 player. I could also watch movies if I felt like it. If I wanted to buy movies or just put them on there, downloading it. Like, I thought it was a really cool device. And it's a shame that it's at the end of its life cycle.
Yeah.
Which I think is safe to assume.
Yeah, I think the Vita's pretty dead now.
Yeah, but it's a shame. It's too bad. There's too much death going around right now.
Too much death.
It's not really a good thing. So let's talk about something that could be rising from the, well, no, not that. I wanted to bring up the 64 thing first. But rising like a phoenix instead of dying like a dead thing.
Like a dead phoenix.
So Nintendo recently was, I guess, renewed trademarks is the
I think they filed a patent.
Patents for
like a tiny little N64.
Yeah, not a big deal.
No, wee baby.
And people are saying like, well, they did this in the past couple of years with the NES and the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
So this is perhaps foreshadowing of the N64 Classic, which, I would just
be cool.
The N64 Classic would be amazing, just because that library.
Unless they did like tiny controllers, like on the Famicom, that'd be like the worst thing. I'd be like, how do I play like this?
I would. It would be cool if they did the new, like those new 64 controllers that were recently done, where it's like they got rid of that middle knob and it's just one.
I don't think I've seen those.
Never seen that?
That's
pretty cool. I'll show you one after the show. But
cool.
I would be interested to see like if they did the 64 Classic, which I think it's 100% sure that they're going to do it. These things,
I think so.
These things make so much money. It'd be dumb not to do it.
Those things just print money. It's like it costs them a nickel to make, and then they just sell them for like $80, $90.
Yeah. But what I think what's interesting about this is that, and I was thinking about it, compared to the NES Classic and the Super Nintendo Classic, this would be one that would have 4 controllers, or 4 ports at least. Maybe not 4 controllers, but at least 4 ports. Because, the 64 was a big party system and had tons of 4-player games and multiplayer games. Does that, technically harder to make, even though, let's say it costs a dime instead of a nickel to make.
Oh, no. What will Nintendo
2 extra
do?
ports. Do you think that restricts the amount of games that they would put on?
I think so.
Really?
I think a lot of things actually are going to restrict the game. So here's my prediction.
Yeah.
It's on the line right now,
Say
everybody.
it. Lay it down.
I'm thinking the worst here. I think it's going to be $100, and I think it's going to have 12 games.
Oh my, 12?
I think so. That's my guess. Like 15 max, but I want 20. It's like
12?
I think so.
And I mean, I guess they all have to be first party.
I mean, you got to think about like Nintendo. They sell those games for like $15 a pop. So it's like,
I guess, but still.
Just,
well, they don't need. But the thing, they don't have a virtual console now. So it's like.
Yeah, but it's still just. Well, I mean, games are still going to come out for.
Are they though?
They're going to come.
Are they?
They're
when?
Come. Yeah, I don't know.
Like.
One night, somebody at Nintendo's going to get real drunk and they're like, okay, I guess I'll turn on the servers for this, and then it'll just pop up.
I feel like that's as simple as it is for them. It's like they've got buttons for each one of their console games, like the libraries of each console. And they're like, let's just give them the NES library. Actually, let's give them like 1/10 of the library.
Nah. Let's hold off like 8 more months. Really put the screws to them.
And they're like, let's wait at least 3 years between each one.
We hate money.
Yeah. I hate it so much.
Let's make an NES Classic and make like 13, 14 of them.
15 tops.
Yeah. I mean, you're getting crazy right now.
Yeah, we can't make too much. We're not sure if they're going to sell well. They might not. But yeah, I can't imagine $100 for 12 games.
I mean, I
12?
think it's, yeah.
That's barely over 10.
I understand. But like I said, they charge like they charge between like $12 and $15 for all those games. And you think about it, like if they have like Ocarina of Time and Mario 64 and games like that on there, it's like Nintendo's been they've always been they're weird when it comes to their properties. Like they don't ever want to price anything too low. Like you go and look at any brand new Nintendo game that's come out in like the last like 8 years, they're all still like $60. Like go look at like Mario Kart for like the Wii U or something. That's probably still a $50-$60 game.
Yeah, probably.
You know, it's just that's how Nintendo always is. They're weird with their properties.
Yeah.
They never want anything to be too cheap because it'll devalue what they have. And so it's like you think about all these N64 games and the fact that they charge like $12 to $15 per game whenever there's like a virtual console kind of thing and they decide to flip a switch and put that crap on there.
Yeah.
It's just if they put 12 games on there, that's basically $120 value to them. If they're charging $10 a pop.
Yeah,
so
I get it.
Unfortunately, trust me, I want 20 games on there, and we're gonna pretend 20 games are gonna come.
Yeah.
But
it's like
I think it's gonna be like 12 to 15 in that.
If
range.
it's let's say it is 12, that's such a predictable list.
It is,
and it's
but that's a damn good list.
I know it's a good list, but it's like
that's a really good list.
But you're just taking out the fun out of it. Like the Super Nintendo Classic had a game that was never released. Like that was the big thing, which is awesome, and it had it obviously had a lot of great games. And the NES Classic, games like Earthbound that like a lot of people I would bet my money never even touched.
Yeah.
Just because it's such a, I don't want to say it's an unknown game, but I feel like compared to like A Link to the Past or Super Mario World, it's kind of in the backseat. Not a lot of people think about it in the forefront of Super Nintendo history. But like the 64, like, obviously tons of third-party games.
Mm-hmm.
But if you did like a top 10 for 64, I think it's just so predictable. And it's like, well, that's not, where's the fun? Like,
I mean, but it was called the Fun Machine.
Yeah, well, it would be more fun if it wasn't 12 games. I mean, now I'm starting to think Nintendo's doing this, and they're they're listening right now. They're like, 12 games for $100? Yes, let's bring that man on board.
I mean, I think it's just, honestly, trust me, I hope that's not true. I hope it's like $80 and there's like 20 games there. It won't be, but it's just, and it'll come with 2 controllers. And then,
I think
you'll buy.
I think the 2 controllers thing is reasonable. That makes sense to me. I mean, that was like the original consoles that came with 1 or 2. It would be cool though if they made controllers like different colors, like the 64 had different colored ones.
I have a feeling they might.
That would be amazing.
I could see them coming out with like 3 different colors.
Yeah,
like give us like the atomic purple.
Right.
Like, the kind of that clear purple one they always do into every console in the US for some weird reason.
Yeah.
Like a, yellow one and like
blue one.
Or like a red one or something like that. I always feel like I always saw like the red and the yellow one whenever I'd be at like a buddy's house and they had like a bunch of controllers.
Yeah.
It's always like the red and the yellow I saw. And then
I think
obviously the gray.
I thought I always saw the green. I think the green was like the one I saw the most. It would be really cool if they did the DK banana ones.
Be cool.
That'd be so cool. But yeah, so how about, how much time do we have? We're good.
We got time. We got time.
Because I wanted to make a list.
Let's list.
I wanted to make a list
like
of
400 games.
every game ever made. Tell me your top 500. No, for 64.
Yeah.
I think, and you brought this up before, where it's like, okay, obviously take out Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask,
it's like
Smash.
Exactly.
Let's take out the obvious ones.
Yeah. So it's like we got Mario 64, Smash, Star Fox 64,
right.
Mario Kart 64, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. What else is on that obvious list?
I mean, I wouldn't say, no, that's not an obvious list. I guess those are pretty, if it takes us that long, then I'd say those 7 are the,
that's
or 6, sorry. Those 6 are like the most obvious ones that'll be on there.
Yeah.
Pokemon Stadium. I think that's
I don't know if it's obvious.
I think it is. Pokemon Stadium was Pokemon Stadium.
I mean, it's especially because you don't have you can't plug your Game Boy game into it, so it's like
This is true.
it'd be a little tricky.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. We'll take that one off.
Yeah.
All right, so those six.
I think that's an obvious, like, without Nintendo having to talk to anybody. It's like that's like their 6 they could just pull out of their butt and put on there.
Right.
And it's like, and I feel like they might even throw something else in there, like a Pilot Wings or some nonsense too.
Ooh, that was a launch game, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it launched with 3 games. Do you know them?
All right, let me take a guess. Pilot Wings,
Yeah.
Super Mario 64,
Yeah.
and is it another first party?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope I'm right, by the way. I'm pretty sure I'm
God,
right.
you could be wrong.
I'm pretty sure I'm right.
I'm gonna say Mario Kart 64.
No.
What do you think it is?
It's Wave Race, I think. Or maybe that was GameCube.
You don't even know. Oh, I think another obvious one is Mario Party.
Yeah.
I think that one has to be in there.
Yeah, that's definitely on my list.
Well, I think that's, like you said, like if they're gonna come out the bat and just be like, all right, these have to be on there. I think those 7 games have to be on the N64 Classic. Like, no matter what happens, no matter if they make 12 games and that leaves them 5 to spare, like those 7 games, I think they need to be on the 64. Yeah. Like, because I think those 7 games define what the 64 really gave you in terms of just everything. Like, in the grand scope of what that system accomplished, like what the games accomplished, I think those 7 games really show you like the power of what the 64 did.
Yeah.
And like the standard it set.
So I double checked. Wave Race was definitely GameCube. I'm mixing that up because GameCube had Luigi's Mansion, Wave Race, and something else. But we're not talking about GameCube.
Yeah.
So I'm off the hook for right now. But it only launched with 2 games.
Oh, so I was right.
Mario 64 and Pilot Wings. That is, how are you gonna launch a console with 2 games?
Well, when one of those games is Mario 64, you could really launch with just that game.
Yeah. And then basically like a month later, Mortal Kombat Trilogy came out, and then Wave Race came out November 1st. So, just like a hair over a month.
Interesting.
I was close though. I thought it launched with Wave Race 64, but I am mistaken.
Well, you're wrong. Like always.
I know. that's me and my life.
All right, so
okay,
you've got.
Yeah. So
what are your games? I got my list. I can pull it up right here.
So just to lay it out there for everybody in the world of listening to us, we're not worried about licenses.
Yeah, take away the trademarks, all that stuff.
Any hoops that somebody might jump through.
Yeah, all the legal jargon, all the legal nonsense.
It's just a fun list.
This is a wish list.
It's a good wish list.
Yeah.
All right, so
see how many we share.
Yeah. So I definitely have I have 1080 snowboarding on mine.
I have that as well.
I mean, that game's
fun.
So fun back in the day.
And I think if, like, that's a prime example of what the 64 did was fun sports games.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't, like, sport games to me are just not fun. Yeah. But, like, the 64 had, because they just didn't feel like you were playing sports games. They felt like you were just playing crazy arcade games.
I actually, like, 1080 was, like, I feel like it was one of the first games where I felt like the game was just cool. Like they're like when you're picking your character, they're just like hanging out in this in this little like kind of cabin, like the dudes at the pool table. It's just like they're just hanging out. It's like, yo, this is cool. Yeah. Snowboarding's cool.
It's like how I felt about like Tony Hawk. Like the dudes are just like hanging out.
Yeah,
just like,
what's up?
I can skate.
You want to snowboard? Let's go.
I kind of do now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some good music. It was a cool game.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
And just like straight up just a fun game.
Yeah, I dug it.
All right, dog.
So, next one I have Battle Tanks.
Oh, I don't have that. I never even played that.
Man, that was a awesome game back in the day. Yeah, it was a tank battle game, and you're just like roaming through these like cities as like different.
Like Arkham Knight. Tank battles?
Don't even get me started. I wish Arkham Knight had tank battles as good as these tank battles. Yeah, I mean, you're just like running around like 4-player multiplayer. You're just like hanging out with your friends. Like I wish, and I've never played World of Tanks. Maybe it's as good, but I wish there was like a really really good just tank multiplayer game again, because that was just super fun. Like. Nobody does tanks. It's like
there's really not many tank games.
Outside like Battlefield, and you're like I mean yeah, those are pretty fun. But like exclusively
Right.
like a tank battle game.
Yeah.
I think that would be super rad
Yeah, I
to
feel
see
you.
something like that again. So, I like Battle Tanks. It's a good game.
All right,
It's
I
a
believe.
good game.
I'll take your word for it.
I don't think you do. All right.
You're right. You're a dirty liar.
So, next on my list,
Yep.
I'm gonna say just any of the WCW or WWF games,
Oh,
like
the wrestling games.
yeah, like either WCW Revenge or WWF No Mercy. Like,
I played No Mercy.
Yeah.
That was fun.
and that was I think the last one for the N64, if I'm not mistaken. So that game came out pretty late. I think that came out 2001.
Oof.
When that came out. Like, it was pretty darn late.
Was
in the
SmackDown
life cycle.
2000? Was that on 64?
No, that was on that trash system.
Hey,
Those
now.
games were so bad.
Hey,
Any of those,
now. That,
like,
you can say the game was bad, not the system. Relax.
or at least those games were just horrid.
Yeah.
Like, the N64 had so many good wrestling games.
No, I know. it
And
did.
like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, they just I don't know who was developing those games, but they were super bad. Like WWF, like Shut Your Mouth, and like
SmackDown.
yeah, like all
I have
those are
that.
just super bad games. It's like, what is going on in this console?
To each his
But
own.
the N64, I mean, just the mechanics, the create a character, just
Yeah.
like even like the story modes and stuff were a lot of fun. So I really dug all those games. But I would select No Mercy out of all of them. I think it was the best out of the bunch.
Yeah. I remember playing that at my cousin's house. Lots of
Yeah.
fun. That was a fun game.
Awesome game.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So next I have Turok 2, which
Yeah, that's a good one.
brah, that game,
I've heard good things.
that game is out of this world good.
Like I've heard leaps and bounds ahead of the first one.
Yes,
'Cause I have the
by
first
far.
one.
Yeah, that's a bad game.
And yeah,
But Turok 2, Acclaim just crushed it with that game.
Yeah.
Like, that was like the first game that I played that I could almost see where like games could go in the future. Like, it had voice acting in it. It had like really good character designs and like these kind of crazy open-ish worlds.
yeah.
I mean, there was just a plethora of weapons you could use, and there was also like you could target different parts of the body of the enemies, and they would do different things. Like, you could blow off legs, and
Yeah, that's awesome.
or like there are these certain enemies. Like, if you were shooting them but you didn't kill them fast enough, they would just like type this thing into their little like wrist things that like blow themselves up, and it's just
nice.
super rad.
yeah.
And even like the multiplayer was awesome, and they were just I could talk about that game forever. That game was
Do you have
freaking
it?
awesome. Oh yeah, I
Oh,
have it.
nice. I'm trying to play
Yeah,
it.
dude, it's dope. I think
take
it
it.
holds up. It doesn't, but I think it holds up. I mean,
I
it's
was
just
because
like,
the first one doesn't really hold up at all.
I mean, it's like N64 games. It's hard to hold up.
Yeah, like even like go back and play GoldenEye. Like I don't even think that holds up.
It's a rough game.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, GoldenEye.
Yeah, I mean, I figured.
Yeah, GoldenEye should be on that list. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just such a classic. I mean, it'd be
Yeah.
hard not to have that on this list. I think in a lot of ways it almost made the N64 for like a more casual audience. If
I agree.
'cause it's like what really makes that system is Mario 64 and the Zelda games by far. But it's like you think about like FPSs on a console. And like just, I feel like there's so many just like people that never really played video games that just knew GoldenEye, played GoldenEye.
Yeah.
And it's just, you could just gather a bunch of people over at a house and play
And
GoldenEye.
like that was the best part about it, just killer multiplayer.
Yeah.
And when you get the golden guns, that's just so cool.
My favorite is just slaps only. If you remember that mode.
What?
You don't remember slaps only?
No.
it's just karate chops. You run around karate chopping people,
don't
but it's
remember
called
that.
slaps only.
That sounds funny.
Or you could do slaps only with golden guns.
Oh, nice.
So you run around trying to find a golden gun, and then you're like, oh no, don't kill me. You're just trying to karate chop.
That's awesome.
Oh man, I love the multiplayer in that game.
Yeah,
back
it's so
in the
much
day.
fun, dude.
Okay, so next to my list is Pokemon Stadium. I mean,
I think
it would be a tough game to put on there,
yeah.
but I think that should be on there. if not Pokemon Stadium, at least Pokemon Snap. One of the Pokemons.
I agree. I actually had both of those on my list.
Yeah.
I think I think they need to be on there.
Yeah.
Just for the where Pokemon was at the time, and just when I can't. For those who weren't around or didn't have the knowledge of when Pokemon Stadium came out, like it was, to me and people I knew, was mind blowing.
Yeah.
Because like Pokemon to that point had only been known for two things, like one, the TV show, and two, playing it on your tiny little Game Boy.
Yeah.
And then when you realize, first off, that you can play with huge, fully rendered 3D Pokemon and just blasting attacks at each other, and then you can plug in your game into it and you can play on the big TV.
It's amazing.
Yeah, mind blown. Like that's when I saw, oh my god, the future. Like it's here.
There it is.
Like the future is here.
Right now. And then you play something like Hello Pikachu, you're like, ooh, this is not the future. It's a bad game.
We're going back in time.
Nothing about this works.
Yeah. That damn thing did not listen.
Yeah. That's what, like, you know, me and like buddies back in the day, we would just call it like F you Pikachu, because yeah, that's all you do. You just like cuss at it.
Yeah,
it's like,
pretty much.
It's like that the stupid thing didn't listen. You're just yelling at it.
Yeah, it's just a dumb mouse. What do you expect?
Dumb mouse. So next on my list, what do I have here? Cruisin' USA is such a freaking classic, man.
Yeah. Played that at the arcade the other night.
Yeah, I mean, but just the original was freaking awesome back in the day. Like, it does not hold up whatsoever now.
No, it's pretty rough.
Just my nostalgic memories of that, hanging out with an old buddy of mine and playing that game.
Yeah.
Like after school every day for like months.
Sure.
It's like, it's just such a classic. That I want to put that on the list.
I feel you. There is no rules to this list. If it's fully nostalgia, it doesn't have to be a good game. If it brings up good times.
You know, it's one of those things like, you know, some of the games even on like the NES, SNES classics, they're not necessarily great games, but it's just like, it's part of the history. You know?
Sure.
It's like,
it's important to play that game.
And I think it was just such a great racing game outside of Mario Kart.
Yeah.
You know, at the time, anyways.
Diddy Kong
never counts.
Dude, why do people love that game?
It's such a bad game.
That's a hot take,
Even at the time, it's just like, ugh, what is this?
Why do people love that game so much? I don't understand.
I don't know. And also just love the music from Cruisin' USA.
Yeah.
And just like the intro and stuff, just like, Cruisin', Cruisin' USA. Yeah.
It's good. It's good, I know.
It's a rad game.
It's good.
All right. So next.
How long's your list?
I put 10 on here.
Oh, okay.
Or 10-ish, I think. But just kind of going through some old classics.
No, I feel you. I feel you, dog.
Calm down. So we got one of the Star Wars games, either Rogue Squadron or the Pod Racing.
Of course.
Like, those games are freaking amazing back
Pod
in the day.
Racing, they took the worst part of that movie and made a really good game out of it.
Yeah, surprisingly good.
Yeah.
You know, I talked about just a second ago good racing games, and that was one of them.
Oh yeah,
it was
absolutely.
Super fun back then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that game made you feel like you were going fast, and it's rad.
Yeah,
I was digging it.
I feel you. I love that game.
All right, so I'm going to blow through this a little bit. We've already talked about Mario Kart, talked about Mario Party.
Yeah.
I think Mario Party 1 is just an absolute essential.
Yeah, I think it needs to be on there. It's one of those, just has to be. Nintendo like, all right, it's part of the 7 that needs to be on the list, or it needs to be on there.
Like, maybe it's just me, but that was my favorite out of the bunch, was the first one.
First one? Yeah. Out of all 10 that have been made?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think there's probably some better ones in there. Like, I think it was Mario Party 3 that was for the N64. That was also really, really good.
The first 3 for the 64.
But, I don't know. It's just like a nostalgic thing, classic, just put the first one on there.
No, one's good. I like 6 on the Cube. That was a good one.
Yeah. And then, obviously, Banjo-Kazooie needs to be on there. Like, I don't know how, but I know there's some things. But it's on our list.
Look, Phil seems to be a cool guy. So just hit him up and be like, look, Phil, we need a Kazooie and Tooie.
Yeah.
We need both of them on this system.
Yeah.
Because I honestly, like, I don't know how you make a 64 Classic and not have any rare games.
Yeah.
Just in general.
Like, I was never a big fan of Perfect Dark. I think it's kind of a bad game. That's just me. But it's like, actually, no, they also had Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
They had that. Killer Instinct Gold. Never played it.
But, I wasn't a big Killer Instinct fan when I was young, so.
Yeah.
Don't really care about
I'm trying to what other rare games were there?
Jet Force Gemini.
Oh, Jet Force Gemini. Oh, and Conker's Bad Fur Day.
God, that's on my list.
Conker should definitely be on there.
Oh, absolutely.
Although
should.
I think that was on that retro collection, right? It came out for Xbox.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And then
Whatever. It's gonna be on ours too.
I mean, it would be amazing if they did that. I doubt it because of family friendliness.
Yeah.
But God, it'd be amazing if they did that.
Put Conker on
Conker.
there.
All right,
Nintendo, listen up. Put Conker on there. Don't worry about it.
it's all good. if anyone gives you trouble, just tell them I said it was cool.
Yeah. Spencer thinks it's, Phil Spencer thinks it's all right too.
I'm taking that off now. I'm putting it at the bottom because Conker's Bad Fur Day. I thought that absolutely should be on there because that game, man, was it fun. It was so ridiculous and
ridiculous game. That's for sure.
Okay, so. Another one, this is a first-party one are you done your list yet? Or?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, keep going, sorry.
So I think we had the same one, Kirby Crystal Shards.
Yeah.
It was probably what you were about to say.
Yep, Crystal Shards.
Yeah, that game was super rad.
That was a damn good Kirby game. It was a very good Kirby game. And for they kept it was weird playing it because you had to use the D-pad to move when it was just a weird controller in general. But it just felt weird using that. But yeah, damn good game. Lightning and Rock, game over.
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked that game back in the day.
I liked it too.
One that I think should really, really be on there is Paper Mario.
I also have that on my list.
Nice.
It was weird.
It's like it was a good game or something.
It's
just
it was okay.
I really wish that Nintendo would bring back the Paper Mario series in its classic RPG form.
Yeah.
It's like that Paper Mario for the N64 and Thousand Year Door.
Well, when the Cube Classic comes out.
Well, I don't even need that. Just just pop my GameCube in.
Well, that's true. We could just play it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love those games. I think you'll really like this one. Bomberman Hero.
Bomberman 64.
No, there's two of them. There's 64 and then there's Bomberman Hero.
Oh, I only played 64.
Oh, man.
Was
Hero's even better.
Was that the sequel?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, yeah.
But pretty much either
I had
of those,
64 on mine.
Yeah, either of those games.
Yeah.
I think those were just the prime of Bomberman. Those are just
I think so.
rad games.
Yeah, I love the, not necessarily open world, but taking those open worldish levels, kind of like Mario 64. A lot of the 64 open adventure games did that, or the 3D platformers did that. And I loved Bomberman 64. I like the music was adorable and really fun, and just everything I loved about Bomberman was not ruined in the open 3D world aspect at all, which I thought was awesome. I think they did a really good job at it. I love that game.
We should play that sometime.
I'm down.
Bust that out and do some multiplayer action.
I'd be down. That's a good game.
Rad. It's probably awful now.
No, I don't think it would be.
I didn't put it on here, but I almost forgot about it. Mega Man 64 as well.
Yeah, I think I didn't have that one. But I had that in my head, yeah. Mega Man 64 I think should be on there just because it was called Mega Man 64 instead of Mega Man Legends, which I thought was really cool. They made it their own kind of brand. But that's good. That's a good list.
And then I have one more.
Oh.
Harvest Moon 64.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, do I love me some Harvest Moon 64, which is also Harvest Moon Back to Nature, which I like the, I played it as the Back to Nature version, but I know that the 64 version is pretty much the same thing. And
nice.
That's just my favorite Harvest Moon game, and it's just freaking awesome.
I
love that game back in the day.
I do not. I concur with what you're saying. I don't disagree at all. I don't disagree at all. You took a lot of the games. I mean, Jet Force Gemini was the last one, but that one's. I think Jet Force Gemini should be on there. I don't think it necessarily holds up very well. I played it recently. It's tough.
Yeah,
it's very tough.
It's just a lot of games from that era.
I played that game relatively recently, and I thought about it I don't know how 10-year-old me did this.
Yeah,
it blows my mind how I was able to play that game so well and beat it. So I got 2 games left. One, I was talking to you about it the other day, Spider-Man. Oh, I love Spider-Man.
Yeah, actually, I saw the cartridge.
The red cartridge?
Yeah.
It's
I was
so
like,
cool.
oh, what's this red cartridge?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, man, Spider-Man.
I love that cartridge. I think it's so cool. That game, God, I love that game so much. One, because there are literally 30 costumes in that game.
Yeah.
And they all have different abilities and different powers, and they do a mix and match, unlimited webbing, invincibility, you can turn invisible, there's a bunch of different powers, and it's It's so much fun. I like the story's really cool. You get so many cool villains from the Spider-Man world you have to fight. It's just really good. You know, I personally I love that game. There's an intro with Stan Lee when it starts off. It's really cool.
Yeah, you know, I've never played that Spider-Man game.
Well, you can play it. You can play it.
I have to check that out. We're gonna have to bust out the 64.
I'm about
play
to.
some Bomberman, some Spider-Man.
I'm fine with
all
that.
the mans.
I would take out all the mans and play on that 64. I love it. But yeah, so Spider-Man, love that game. And then the last one, Wayne Gretzky 3D Hockey. You want to talk about fun sports games? Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey was like, it was so ridiculous just because like, you got like...
I can't say actually, you know, I think I have a copy of that game, but I've never played it.
Oh my God, you should play it. Because there are like, you know, you get like powered up for like doing like power checks and just smacking people. Yeah. And then you can get into a fight and it's kind of like sock and bock 'em robots, the way you guys are fighting. Yeah. And like, it takes all the wackiness you love from silly sports games like NBA Jam or NFL Blitz, and it just throws it into an ice rink with, you know, you playing hockey. That game, dude, oh my God, it is so much fun. It is like, like, please, if you have it.
We should put NFL Blitz on this list, too.
Well, NFL Blitz is another obvious one. Like, I think all the wacky, zany sports titles should be on this list. Like, because there's so many.
We don't get anything like that nowadays.
Yeah, you really don't. I mean, the closest thing nowadays is like the NBA Playground, which... It's okay. Yeah. I didn't play... I think the second one came out.
But it can't power bomb people. No, it hasn't. It got delayed.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, and you know, you can't be on fire, and you know, like that was the fun thing about like he's on fire, you know, stuff like that. You're right. Like it's fun, wacky sports games aren't really made anymore, and it's a shame because honestly, like for a kid that didn't like to play sports when he was young, I loved playing those sports games. Like NFL Blitz. I love NFL.
Like I've never been a football guy, but like the fact that like you could tackle somebody and then the play's over, but your entire team's still like doing elbow drops. It's so ridiculous.
It's so awesome. I love that. And you could like grab them, like spin them around, throw them. Like it's so much fun. Yeah. Like just the wackiness of those sports games. They were so good. I wish like I would love to do some let's plays of some wacky sports games. That'd be fun.
Let's just like bust out the N64 and do some craziness.
I'd be fine with that. But yeah, if Nintendo, you guys should put those games.
I think we have a pretty solid list, right?
I think so. Between the two of us, I mean, a lot of those games were shared, but Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey, NFL Blitz, those two games should be on there. Like, because those wacky, zany sports titles were so much fun.
Yeah, I miss them.
Yeah, me too.
But I think we're pretty much out of time.
Yeah,
I think that was it.
Yeah.
We didn't even get to everything.
No, we didn't. There's a lot of stuff we want to talk about, but for another day.
Another day. That probably should have been our bonus round.
Yeah, I thought about that like halfway through. I was like, whatever. It's fine.
Having fun.
Yeah, I could talk about Wishlist all day.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, so that is our show, everybody. Thanks for sticking around, listening to our craziness, our crazy lists, all that fun stuff, our death stories and whatnot. If you liked all this, like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your grandma, tell your dog.
Oh yeah, tell your grandma especially.
Like, yo, Granny, you know how you know nothing about video games? Yo, here's some guys talking about them all day.
Hey, my grandma used to play Super Mario Brothers.
Nice.
That's how I learned how to play Super Mario Brothers, because she had an NES when I didn't have one. And I was like, "What's this, Grandma?" She was like, "Let me show you."
Nice. And then she'd hit you with the belt.
And then she'd hit me with the sandal and the belt. And it was just like, this is my system. You're not touching it, kid. It's like, all right, fair enough.
Granny, so mean. But yeah, thanks for watching. Be sure, I already said like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Check us out at youtube.com/multiplayer. Check out our iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, all that fun stuff. Patreon.com/multiplayer. You can go there. They'll say $1 or $2, but if for them extra bonus rounds, we have one that comes out every other Friday on Patreon. But if you don't want to throw us a buck or whatever, no big deal.
It's all gravy,
it'll be
baby.
On the following week. That'll be on YouTube and iTunes and all that fun stuff. So be sure to check us out on Twitter and all that fun stuff too, at Go Multiplayer. That's Twitter, Instagram. I'm at ZachMattScanis. Where can we find you?
On Instagram, I'm at Jumpman Ortiz or underscore Ortiz. I forget. And then
not good.
I always forget the underscores. Like I always forget those little guys. And then Twitter, I'm at Multiplayered Hav.
Sweet.
That's where I'm at.
Cool. All right. Well, till next time.
Stop. I need to give one more thank you.
Oh, DJ CUTMAN, my boy.
I just saw a sticker. I was like, yeah, my boy.
Almost forgot. We're just running out of time.
I know.
I'm just trying to rush.
Getting pressed for it.
But thank you, DJ CUTMAN, for some sweet, sweet chiptune music.
Yeah, and be sure to check out his Patreon, patreon.com/DJ CUTMAN, or his SoundCloud, either one, or his own website, djcutman.com.
You just check him out at his house. It's 1439 West Olive Street. I'm just kidding.
Philadelphia. Yeah, no, check him out. He's really awesome.
Faux show. All right, well, until next time, we'll keep on grinding. See you at the respawn.
Love you, baby.
Later.
We'd like to give a big ol' special thank you to Jaden Lawrence, Arturo Madeira, and Mercha Dan Kropataru. If you want to receive shoutouts like these awesome, beautiful people, be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/multiplayered. See you next time, players.